Guys, welcome to the channel. On this video I'm gonna talk about injuries and how to start training after the injury, so how to go back to the gym after having the injury and recover. The first thing that you have to check is if you really have an injury. The feeling of an injury is not a post-workout soreness. It's a feeling like if I do another rep, if I do another set, if I train that muscle again, I'm gonna get worse and I'm gonna break my muscle, or I'm gonna feel much worse, okay? And the pain will be harder. In that moment, I recommend you to go to a physiotherapist, okay? And check why you have the injury, what you have, and what you can do. The physiotherapist will have a look on the injury, on the muscle, and will give you some guidance, okay? Pay attention what the physio says to you and follow the instructions, okay? Once the physio tells you, okay, now you are ready to start going back to the gym and train, but do it slowly. Here, patience is key, and I don't recommend you to have the weight that you had before the injury, because if you do things fast and you are not patient, you are gonna spoil the whole thing, you are gonna get worse, and it's gonna be a step back. So instead of taking a step forward, you are gonna go backwards and you are gonna get worse. And here, what I try is to give you a good advice. So little by little, progressively, little by little, go back to a point where you were before the injury, progressively, adding more weight, okay? Here, what I recommend is to start with mobility and flexibility first. And then, when you have recovered from that and you feel fine, you can start training, but progressively. So what I wouldn't do is to isolate the muscle where you have the injury, okay? Like, for example, I'm gonna tell you what I had. Years ago, I had an injury in my adductor. So what I did is I didn't isolate the groin. So what I did is to do compound exercises where that muscle where you had the injury is acting as a secondary muscle, not as a main muscle, okay? When I had the injury on my adductor, on my groin, I started doing cable leg press with 2 blocks, okay? Cable leg press. And I did 8 sets. A few days after that, when I recovered from the workout, usually the post-workout soreness is harder than usual because the muscle where you had the injury was very weak, and little by little you had to get it stronger. So the post-workout soreness is a little bit bigger. When I recovered from the workout, I did cable leg press again with a little bit more weight, and also leg extensions, leg curl, calves and glutes with very light weight. The next time when I recovered from that workout, I started doing squat with the barbell, okay? Only with the barbell. And then cable leg press with light weight, leg extension, leg curl, glutes and calves with very light weight. And then from then on, every time that I did legs, little by little, I was adding more weight, okay? Until I went back to the point where I was before the injury. A few weeks ago, I had an injury here on my trap. And I'm gonna tell you what I did and what I'm doing, okay? But first, if you want me to make more videos, guys, give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and if you want me to make a specific video for you, let me know in the comments and I'll make it, okay? Well, trap injury. What I did first is I went to a physio, he touched, put needles, and I started doing mobility and flexibility. In my first week of training after the injury, I did Bulgarian squat for legs with a kettlebell with very light weight. And for back, I did 1 arm rowing with very light weight. For chest, I did dumbbell press, light weight as well. For shoulders, lateral raises, light weight. A few sets of each exercise for each day, okay? And then the next week, I started doing squat with 60 or 70 kilos, okay? For legs. And then I kept going with the leg workout, okay? For back, I did 1 arm rowing up to 30 kilos. Lat pull down, wide grip and close grip, and also the free weight row machine, okay? And a little bit of biceps with a barbell, lightweight. And then for chest, I did dumbbell press up to 30 kilos, okay? And for shoulders, I did lateral raises up to 10 kilos. So you see, I didn't isolate the trap. I was doing exercises where the trap is acting as a secondary or a third muscle group, okay? Not isolating the trap. This week, what I did is squat with 110 kilos, dumbbell press up to 38 kilos, lateral raises up to 14 kilos, one arm rowing up to 44 kilos, and you see, little by little I did more weight. Next week, I'm gonna have squat with 120 kilos because I'm recovering. One arm rowing, well, the back workout, everything fine, but not isolating the traps. Chest bench press again, okay, lateral raises, and the thing close where I was before the injury, because I was doing squat for 10 reps with 130 kilos, okay? That is gonna be in 2 weeks. Next week, I'm gonna start also doing deadlift. Probably I'll put up to 120 kilos only. And the following week, probably up to 140, 150, 150 kilos, okay? And little by little, you see, adding more weight, okay? Doing chest normal, as I'm doing already, shoulders normal before the injury, and everything normal. And then, when I have recovered everything, okay, I will train traps like isolating the trap. But that is the last part of the recovery period, okay? So just isolate the muscle where you had the injury at the end of the recovery process from the injury, okay? Be patient and don't be like in a rush to do things quickly because you can spoil everything. And the point here is try to go back to the way where you were before the injury as quick as possible, but with head, okay? Keep things in mind and don't be in a rush. I also recommend you to sleep properly, okay? Try to sleep enough and fine, okay? Try to drink enough water, okay? And I'm gonna tell you how much water you should drink. When you go to the toilet, pay attention to the color of the urine. It has to be light yellow. If it's transparent, you are drinking too much water and you have to drink a little bit less. And if it's darker than light yellow, you have to drink more water because the color of the urine has to be light yellow, okay? Try to have enough meals, okay? Because a big mistake that I see sometimes is like, okay, I have an injury, I can't train for a few weeks, and I'm gonna eat whatever I like. No, keep your meals the way you had before the injuries, because in order to keep your muscles as long as possible, as much as possible, keep your meals, keep your protein, keep your carbs, keep your vegetables, your fruit, carbs, everything, okay? Keep the meals and have anti-inflammatory meals. Have fish, have seeds and nuts as well that are anti-inflammatory. Turmeric on the food as a condiment as well. I put on chicken or fish, which helps to recover quicker, you know, from the workouts. Try to have olive oil as well, okay? Try to have healthy meals. Rice as well. If you can have a brown rice, it's advisable as well, as long as it's fine for your stomach as well and for your digestion, okay? Keep things in mind and be responsible. And everything is gonna be fine, okay? Be patient and do things right, okay? Because if someone tells you, okay, do whatever you like, it's fine. No. You have to be responsible with your training and with your body, because the point here and the thing is to go back to the way where you were before the injury, fine, with proper steps, okay? And try not to be like in a rush, okay? Do things right. In my case, I know what I'm talking about because in many years of workout, I have 3 injuries: adductor, chest, and trap. 3 injuries in many years is not bad, okay? I know many other people that have had a lot of injuries. And I always go back to the point where I was before the injury. So I know what I'm talking about. So little by little, okay? Well, that's all for this video, guys. I hope that you enjoy it as much as I do making it for you. Follow me on social media, you have the links on the description of this video, and I also recommend you to watch this workout. Thanks guys, see you soon.